Let's dive into the world of CANOFIX Canopies. We're taking a look at their blog and FAQ page today.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I found some really fascinating stuff.
What kind of stuff?
Well, for instance, did you know their canopies can span like a crazy 30 meters in just one sheet?
Wow, that's impressive. Big statement for sure.
Yeah, and they've even got this really clever approach for handling those downpipes that are always in the way.
Yeah, this can be a real pain.
Totally. And it seems like they've really thought of everything when it comes to making these canopies both stylish and practical.
That's really important, especially when you're looking at something like a canopy that's going to be a prominent feature.
Right. Like you want it to look good, but also function well.
Absolutely, and it seems like CANOFIX has got that covered.
Yeah, and the FAQ section is super helpful for that.
How so?
Well, they've clearly anticipated all the little challenges you might run into during installation and provided solutions.
That's really helpful, especially for someone who might be doing this for the first time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. Sure.
It's like they're holding your hand through the whole process.
Totally. Speaking of the installation process, the blog highlights all the different ways you can use these canopies.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, of course, there's the obvious ones like shop entrances and walkways.
Yeah, makes sense.
But they've also got examples of them being used for restaurant patios and even protecting solar equipment.
Wow, that's pretty versatile. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, it really shows you the range of possibilities.
It does, and, that ties in nicely with what we were saying about the FAQ.
How so?
Well, they're not just focused on the aesthetics in the blog, they're also thinking about the practical side of things.
Right, they're showing you how to actually make it work in different scenarios.
Exactly. And that gives you a lot of confidence as a customer knowing that they've thought about all the details.
Absolutely. So let's dive into some of those frequently asked questions. One of the first ones that caught my eye was, I have a downpipe right where I want to install the canopy. What do I do?
Oh yeah, I saw that one too. Seems like a pretty common problem.
Yeah, those downpipes always seem to be
On the right spot. But thankfully, CANOFIX has a solution for that. They recommend using a jigsaw to cut out a section of the back bar and the polycarbonate sheet to make room for the downpipe.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, and then they suggest adding some extra silicone sealant or even a small pipe bracket just for added support.
So you know it's going to be secure and watertight.
Exactly. It's those little details that make a big difference, for sure.
Okay, another question that popped up was about gutters.
The age-old question.
Yeah, like what about gutters? Does the water just pour off the front, right?
You don't want it raining down on everyone.
Uh-huh, definitely not. So what do they say about that?
Well, they've actually designed the front tube to act as a gutter.
Oh, clever.
Yeah, so rainwater gets channeled away anyway.
I like that.
But here's where it gets even better. You can actually remove a section of the aluminum bar if you want to use custom guttering.
Oh, wow, that's flexible.
And they even offer the option to add external downpipes if you need extra drainage capacity.
So no matter what your situation is, they've got you covered.
It really does seem that way. They've thought of everything.
Speaking of the aluminum bars, there was a question about logos on the bracket.
Oh yeah, that's important for some people.
Definitely. Like if you want a clean, minimalist look.
Right, you don't want a big logo distracting from the overall design.
Exactly. So what's the deal with the logos?
Well, CANOFIX explains that the logo size actually varies depending on the size of the bracket.
Oh, interesting.
And get this, the 1000mm projection brackets, they don't have any logo at all.
Wow, that's great for those who want a more subtle look.
Absolutely, it's all about options, right?
Exactly. Speaking of brackets, how do you know what size bracket you need in the first place?
Yeah, there are quite a few options.
Now how do you choose?
Well, CANOFIX provides a handy chart in the FAQ that shows you all the different projection sizes and the corresponding bracket dimension.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, it takes all the guesswork out of it.
I like that. Okay, so let's say you're attaching the canopy to a beam.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of beam should you use?
Good question. They should go into a lot of detail about this in the FAQ.
They do. What do they say?
Well, they give you information about the weight of the canopy,
Okay.
the bracket height. They even recommend specific anchor bolt lengths and drill bit sizes based on the canopy size you choose.
Wow, that's super helpful.
It really is. It's like having a step-by-step guide right there in the FAQ.
I love it. Now, those pipes that support the canopy, they seem pretty long.
Yeah, they do.
Can you cut them to fit exactly?
Absolutely. CANOFIX explains that they cut the pipes to fit the bracket spacing and then use connectors that are placed underneath so you don't see them.
Oh, that's smart.
It creates a really seamless look, no unsightly joints or anything.
It's those little details that really elevate the design.
I agree. Okay, another question that came up was about overhang.
Overhang.
Yeah, like if you want to extend the canopy a bit past the bracket for some extra coverage. Oh, I see. They actually have pre-cut notches for a standard 35mm overhang.
Oh, cool.
But here's what I found really impressive. They also understand that sometimes you need a little more flexibility, so they can leave the notches uncut, allowing you to make adjustments on site.
Wow, that's amazing. They really prioritize adaptability, huh?
They do, and it makes sense because not every situation is going to be the
Faint, right. Now, what about those tricky corner installations?
Oh, those can be a challenge, but CANOFIX has a really ingenious solution.
What is it?
They use a 45-degree aluminum plate and a 90-degree connector.
And that allows you to create a seamless corner.
Exactly. Maintains that clean and professional look.
Very cool. It seems like they've really put a lot of thought into making these canopies work in different situations.
They really have. And speaking of attention to detail, there's a question about sealant.
Sealant.
Yeah, making sure everything is sealed up tight so you don't get any leaks or drafts.
Makes sense. Any tips?
They've got a whole section dedicated to sealant tips in the FAQ.
Really? Like what?
Well, they suggest lifting the back bar for easier application,
Okay.
carefully sealing around any vents, and even adjusting the bracket height for a bit of extra space underneath.
Make sure the sealant can really get in there.
Exactly. It's all about getting a professional and weatherproof finish.
It's really impressive how they've anticipated all these questions and provided such detailed answers.
It really is. You can tell they care about their customers and want them to have a successful installation experience.
Absolutely. It's not every day you see this level of attention to detail in an FAQ.
No, it definitely makes them stand out from the crowd.
Agreed. Yeah, it's so refreshing to see a company that goes above and beyond for their customers.
Right. Like they could have just slapped together a basic FAQ, but they really put in the effort to make it comprehensive and helpful.
It's not just a bunch of technical jargon.
Exactly. They explain things in a way that anyone can understand, even if you're not a DIY expert.
And, while we're talking about going above and beyond, I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the way they highlight the benefits of using CANOFIX Canopies on their blog.
Yeah, it's not just about providing shelter, it's about creating a whole experience.
Right, exactly. They talk about boosting your business, extending your living space, even creating that perfect outdoor oasis.
It's aspirational, but also practical.
And the FAQ really backs that up, like it's saying, okay, we've given you the dream, now here's how you make it a reality.
That's a great way to put it. It's that combination of inspiration and practicality that makes them stand out. Totally.
So while we were digging through all this material, what stood out to you the most?
Honestly, it was that emphasis on adaptability we talked about earlier.
Oh yeah, the custom overhang, the corner installations, the guttering option.
It all points to a system that's designed to work with you, not against you.
It's like they're saying, we're not going to try to fit you into a box. We're going to give you the tools to create your own perfect solution.
Exactly. And that's so important because everyone's needs are different, right?
Right. And you see that in the FAQ too, how they often give you multiple options instead of just one answer.
Like they're saying, here are some possibilities. Now you decide what works best for you.
Yeah. And it feels like a collaboration, Like you're working together with CANOFIX to create something special.
I like that. It's that sense of partnership that really builds trust.
It does. It makes you feel like they're not just trying to sell you a product. They actually want you to succeed.
That's huge. It's so rare to find a company that genuinely cares about its customers like that.
I know. And, it's made me realize that CANOFIX is more than just a canopy company.
What do you mean?
Well, they're not just selling canopies. They're selling a feeling, a sense of possibility.
I see what you mean, like the possibility of transforming your space and creating something truly unique.
Exactly. And that's pretty powerful, I think.
It is. It makes you want to grab CANOFIX Canopy and just start building.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive with a final thought-provoking question.
Ooh, I love
so
those.
with all this
Hit me
flexibility
with
and
it.
attention to detail we've uncovered, what unique or unexpected places could you imagine using a CANOFIX canopy?
That is a good question.
Right. Like gets you thinking outside the box.
It does. Let me see. Well, I guess it really depends on your needs and your imagination.
True.
Okay, so maybe like a cozy little reading nook tucked away in the garden.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, imagine curling up with a good book and a cup of tea sheltered from the sun or rain.
Perfect.
Or what about a covered walkway to protect your pets from the elements?
Oh, that's so thoughtful. Especially for those pups who hate the rain.
Right. Or maybe you work from home and you want to create a stylish outdoor office space.
Ooh, a CANOFIX covered patio desk.
Exactly. You could have your laptop, your coffee all set up outside, but still protected from the elements.
I'm sold. And you know what's so cool? It's like you said, it really depends on your needs and your imagination.
Totally. And who knows, maybe our ideas will inspire someone to create a whole new use for CANOFIX Canopies.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, and maybe CANOFIX will even add a new FAQ entry or blog post based on it.
That would be amazing. I love how engaged they are with their customers.
Me too. It really sets them apart.
It does. Well, I think we've covered just about everything.
Yeah, we've gone pretty deep on this one.
We have. It's been fascinating to explore the world of CANOFIX Canopies with you.
Likewise. I always learn something new from these deep dives.
Me too. And for you listening, we hope you've enjoyed this journey into the world of CANOFIX Canopies as much as we have.
And who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to create your own unique and stylish space with a CANOFIX canopy of your very own.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time.